GM to YouTube. GM. The huge Slayer update has finally arrived. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So a ton of things have changed, and a lot of people are looking for new updated block lists because every single Slayer Master has their own separate block list that you can take advantage of. So I wanted to go over kind of rough changes to the rewards, things that you might want to consider that have changed, and the new block lists and a tool to help you do Slayer in the future because there's a really useful spreadsheet as well. First interesting new change is a reptile freezer, which is only 10 points now. I think it was like 100 before or something terrible. Like no one would ever buy that. Some people did, but it's okay. The thing is we can end up blocking lizards, which we'll get into. I'm going to show the tutorial block list after this. For 10 points, you get to automatically kill lizards once they hit 0 HP. The thing is all of these auto finish unlocks are going to waste 1 tick every time you finish. And that doesn't sound so bad, but when it's on every single monster, that does waste a lot of time and it adds up. It feels really, really slow and bad to use it, but it does help with desert lizards. It makes them a lot simpler. You can semi-AFK them. Kind of nice to be able to do that for tutorial tasks. It's a thing. It's there. Not the biggest change, but it's there. Very cheap. The main thing is that a bunch of things had huge Slayer point reduction. So a bunch of things like Ring Bling got reduced. Anything that got reduced gives you your points back on. So everybody in the mail got a stimmy check. If you had a bunch of unlocks already, congratulations. All of your block lists just got wiped, and all of your anything that you had unlocked that now is cheaper, you get refunds on that too. So I logged in with like 700 points on my hardcore. Depending on what you bought, you can have up to like 1,000. Kind of interesting. It gives you a chance to redo all of those block lists that you need to do. There's a lot of things that are changed with points. The last like big one that's kind of completely changed things is task storage is now 500 instead of 1,000, which is a massive change. This may actually be worth kind of gunning for early if you can. If you're okay grinding a lot of points, getting task storage can be really, really handy. It lets you save bosses that you don't want to do right away. It's not necessary at all. It's not super efficient to go get it. But if you wanted to do some tutorial with the new block list, grab task storage. Now would be the time to do that. Now would be the time. Let me quick show. A lot of people don't know like what tutorial means when I say that. So let me quick explain. We do point boosting and task canceling with tutorial. Okay. So what you do for point boosting, that means you do, Turiel's the easiest Slayer Master. You do 9 tasks with him, and then every 10th task you do with your best possible Slayer Master. So that's a way to boost points. What you can also do is call up Turiel whenever you get a task you don't like. Turiel can reset that task and give you one of his instead, but it's going to reset your streak. Okay, so a lot of people do Turiel canceling as well as point boosting. So these are both things that you would want to use Turiel for. Now, what you can do now is set a custom block list with Turiel. So all of those really slow bad tasks he has now we can get rid of. So the ones you want to block if you're doing this, and if you're looking to get into point boosting, the locations on the wiki are fairly accurate, and there's a lot of resources around that tell you how to do like Turiel effectively. So just these locations are fairly accurate, so you can always use these. My first block is lizards. Lizards are very, very slow. Like I was saying, you got to use ice coolers on them. That wastes time. Your other option is kill sulfur lizards in Mount Carulum, which is great. They're cannonable. You can kill them fairly fast if you hide behind a wall and let your cannon just like go to town. The problem with the lizards is they have like 50 something health. So it's very, very slow. It's very, very slow regardless of that. And it's kind of a long run from a teleport. So this is a great block. Skip the ice, skip the reptile freezer and just like block it. You'll never have to worry about it. The next one is bats. I'd say this is if you don't have all your block slots, like this is the one you'd unblock. This is the one you would leave unblocked. Bats are really, really spread apart. The place you kill them is near the dig site. You need a lot of range to kill them, so you usually need a long-ranged weapon to reach them. You can only barely cannon them. They're pretty slow. So if you can block them, great. It's not the worst ever, though. So if you don't have that slot, that's okay. Dogs are very, very slow. There's very few spawns in the place you kill them. The best right now is near the agility pyramid, but there's just not that many of them. They have a lot of health. They're in singles. They waste your time if they attack you. You can't attack the next one right away. Very, very slow task. So blocking dogs, great. Dwarves is not terrible as well. I'd say these two are the least impactful blocks. So if you didn't have these 2 slots, leave these unblocked. But dwarves can be kind of slow. We do it in the White Wolf Tunnel pub, which is like near the Taverley house portal. It can be kind of annoying teleporting there. You either have to put your house there or have chip tabs or like a construction cape, something like that. And killing them, they have quite a bit of health. They have like 30. You can put your cannon in the middle. It does kill them fairly quickly. This isn't a particularly bad task, but pretty slow. So you can just get away with a free block there. Skeletons, extremely slow. I had a pretty fast method of using Padawan teleports where I teleport to Edgeville Dungeon, put a cannon down, run through the whole dungeon, killing all the skeletons along the way, tabbing back, repeat, like, It's a little overly complicated, and they have a lot of health. Like, it's still slow, even if you go to the effort of all of that. So, skeletons is a terrible task. Great one to block. There's wolves. Wolves just have a lot of health. They are in multi, so if you have a Venator bow, it's not that slow. You can still do it fairly quickly. This one isn't the worst task ever. This is also one you could leave unblocked if you don't have all the slots. And then finally, cow fights. And this one is a little questionable. And before this update, I was planning to leave this unblocked, because it's a very low weight task. Like most of tutorials are all the same weight, but cow fights are the lowest weight. And also it's a fast task. You just go to the cow fight cave and like you kill them rapidly. It's multi. You can kill them so fast. Why would I block this? The reason I block this is that when you get a huge task of cow fights from a different Slayer Master and you are trying to cancel it, like you don't want to do 180 cow fights, Trail will say, no. That is one of my tasks. You must complete that. I will not cancel that for you. But they made it so if you block this, Turiel forgets that it's a task he can give you, and then he will skip it for you. Okay? So if you're canceling, specifically if you're canceling, extremely important to block cow fights. Then you don't have to worry about blocking cow fights on any of the other masters if you don't want to. You just need it blocked on Turiel, and then he can skip it. So very, very big blocking the cow fights there. That's why we do that. The best Slayer Master for XP, a lot of people like talk about Steve and stuff. Neve or Steve, whatever you have, way slower than Kuradal these days. Kuradal just has way better Slayer tasks. Steve just has a ton of things like Minions of Scabarus. Just has like so many bad tasks with Steve. So Kuradal has become the meta for like best Slayer Master for XP. This is roughly what you're looking at for a block list. Big thing that's changed with the main Slayer Masters that you're like what exactly has changed mainly? First things first, what they did with the Metal Dragons, they lumped them all together. So now all Metal Dragons are one task. What they also did is they brought the weight of these all together. Odds of getting a Metal Dragon task is extremely high. 14 weight, which is crazy. That's the highest weight I've ever seen on any Slayer Master. Any Slayer Master you use, anytime, you should be blocking Metal Dragons. Always. The weight is ridiculous. There's no reason not to block them. Unless you love killing Rune Dragons or something weird like that, it's a block. No matter what, Metal Dragons you're going to get constantly. They are extremely common. I'm not sure why exactly they made the weight so high on these. Like, it's a little ridiculous. I feel like we could have gone with, I don't know, 9 weight, 10 weight, something like that. But they made it 14. So, yeah, you got to block that. Unfortunate. Basically, what you're doing is leaving unblocked the tasks that are either good XP or quick. So, Abbey Demon's great XP, especially if the teleblock, blip block scroll from Zombie Pirates, awesome. You want to use that here. It's really good XP. Boss tasks, we don't unlock for XP. If you do have it unlocked, obviously you're going to be using it. Dark Beasts, not a good XP task, but it gives you like 15 of them. You finish that task in like 5 minutes, right? So that's the idea. Racksite's great XP. So anything that you're like bursting or multi-combat or that kind of thing, you want to be doing those tasks that are good XP, and then you want to be doing those tasks that are good points, right? So our blocks are Metal Dragons, Hellhounds. Obviously, if you're doing Serb, you're probably going to want that unblocked, so it depends what you're doing. But you want to block Hellhounds if you're going for XP. Krakens, same thing if you're going for pet, leave it unblocked. Block it if you want XP. Greater Demons, even with Tormented Demons are great if you want to kill those. It's very, very solid. It's good XP. It's 80k an hour. But because the task is so long, you'll end up getting worse XP overall compared to some of the really good burst tasks. So this is going to be slower for you. You do want to block Greater Demons if you're after XP because they're such a high weight. You then block... there's a bunch of bad 8 weights. It doesn't really matter here. You're going to be blocking Black Demons, Gargoyles, Suka. There's also Drakes. There's Worms. Like, all of these are bad. So it's just pick 3 of the 8 weights that are really bad that you're going to be skipping all the time. And that's the idea. That's the idea for best XP. That's the rough idea. Obviously, like I said, like... oh, if you're doing this boss, you want to unblock it. I'm going to be showing you a tool to generate your own block list depending on your situation. Maybe you're going for pets. Maybe you need to kill bosses because you're on an Ironman. Whatever the situation is, there's cases where you wouldn't want this exact block list. So stick around a little bit. I'll show you how to set up a block list using the spreadsheet and get an exact thing set up so you keep neutral points at all times. So you're upkeeping the max XP possible. Moving on to Steve. The main reason you use Steve is he's great for Inferno tasks or Fight Caves tasks. That's the whole reason anybody uses Steve. It's just the highest weight tasks that aren't Tizhar. That's literally all you do. Metal Dragons, Abbey Demons, Black Demons, Blood Velds, Fire Giants, Cow Fights. You could also do something else. It's fine. You could, if you're using Steve and you're doing Turiel for specifically Inferno, then maybe don't block Calphites with Turiel, block something else. Up to you, because Calphites are pretty fast with Turiel, and you're going to want to block them with Steve because they're such a high weight. And then Araxites are any of these 8-weight tasks that you don't like doing. So that's all you do for Inferno or Fight Cave, something like that. And then Konar is the same thing. Konar, just like Steve, the only reason you're doing Konar, or the only reason you should be doing Konar, is either as a very late task streak, like 50+ task streak, or you're doing Hydra, right? And if you're doing Hydra, it's pretty similar. I'll block everything that's the highest weight, leave just Hydra. So it's Metal Dragons, Drakes, Worms, Abbey Demons, Black Demons, Bloodvelds, and Cave Kraken. Okay? It's as simple as that. This is the Skilling Discord's Slayer spreadsheet. Okay? So this tool is extremely useful. It gives you a ton of information, and it's extremely customizable. What you're going to do, and I'll link this below, what you're going to want to do, go here, File, make a copy. So you're going to make a copy of it. That lets you edit it. That lets you do what you want with it, okay? So this main page gives you a bunch of information about what's going to go on with your grind, and you can edit all of this. You can even do things that are like crazy sweaty, like do you have Spec Transfer alts? Do you have a Scythe? Do you have a Smoke Devil ult? Like all this stuff that like, you know, the Giga Sweats use. Maybe you do use those, whatever the situation. You can toggle all of these on yes or no. Defaults to some things that are on like different alts that you might not have. You probably don't have a Catacombs ult. Maybe you don't have a Dance ult, so that cuts you out of things like Bloodveld bursting that you can end up doing. Probably want to go toggle this off. Basically what this is going to do, this gives you a ton of information on this panel, and then we have every single Slayer Master down here, okay? The first one is the important one. It's Duradel, because he's the best XP, right? What this does is it, by default, tells you what is efficient to do for XP. Just straight up do this. Now, this isn't exactly right, and I'm expecting them to update this in a day or two, something like that. Make sure you go through. They don't know that the Metal Dragons are lumped together yet. They haven't input that. Just make sure you go through and you put block on all the Metal Dragons. You absolutely have to block them. You absolutely have to block them. You want them blocked. Make sure you do that. And the one other thing that I noticed is it has you skipping warped creatures, but they're in unlock. Like, why would you use points to skip them? Just make sure this is toggled to not unlocked. Okay? And this is going to tell you this very important information right here. Points per task, 0.32. Basically, you're not getting any points. Okay? And that is exactly efficient. That is as optimal as it can get. You want this number basically close to 0. Okay? So you're coming out even for points in the long run. That means you're using your points as efficiently as possible to keep you doing those good tasks that give you good XP. If you're in a situation of, hey, Gnomonkey, I'm going for Kraken Pet, what should I block instead? You go over to Cave Kraken, you hit do, and now you see you have 2.63 points per task to work with. Now you can block something else. I'll do something random. I don't like Black Dragons. I don't like doing the baby Black Dragons, not worth it. Boom, back down to 0.32. Okay? So you get to mess around with this. You get a lot of options. Basically, all you're doing is trying to get this number close to 0, but not in the negative. And then up here at the top, it's going to tell you all of the tasks that you do, and it's going to give you a bunch of stats about it. The total number of tasks you're going to get, like weight-wise, to whatever grind you say that you're going to do. The XP an hour on all of these, like a bunch of different things. And you can even go as far as toggling whether you're going to use a bracelet. You can toggle whether you have it extended. You can toggle what style you're going to be using to show what combat XP you're going to get for the task, whether you're going to do mage, melee, or something like that, what training you're going to do on it. So extremely powerful tool, extremely powerful. The big one as well is toggling what kind of monster you're doing. Like what variant of a monster you're doing. So if you're doing something weird, like at a different location, you could toggle like what type of monster you're doing. So really, really helpful. Basically, this gives you all the tools you need to get a perfectly efficient block list every single time. I know a lot of people do the thing where they're like, oh, I don't like this task, block it. I don't like this task, block it. If you're doing that, you're going to end up getting, some really high positive points per task. And you're going to end up finishing Slayer with a bunch of points left over. And there's just no need to do that. Like, once you have all the unlocks you need, you don't need points anymore. So you might as well take advantage, blast your way through the skill, get the fastest XP possible, and the spreadsheet lets you figure out exactly how to do that. Super, super helpful. They also have tabs on all the other masters, so you can mess around with it if you're in a weird situation. Or if you're doing Wildy Slayer is pretty popular, and there's a lot of reasons to do that. It's really good points if you want Slayer helmets or something like that. Again, it has like what's roughly efficient even in the inefficient like Slayer Masters. So the tool is really, really powerful. There's a lot you can do with this, and they've considered like every situation of player and like where everybody's at. So I really appreciate this tool because it's not like it defaults to the best thing, but it's not like you have to be sweaty. We're not going to include any information for anyone that's not using 40 alts. It's like totally customizable. You can do anything you want with this tool. So it's super, super strong. When you go in game to set up all these block lists and stuff like that, you just go to the Slayer Master. There's a new view list button, and there's this awesome interface that shows you the exact odds at whatever task that you're looking at. And you can just straight up block all of these from this interface. You don't have to go get the task first and like slowly, carefully set up a block list anymore. No, you can get the efficient block list that you want, immediately block all of them, and never have to deal with it again. Super, super nice. It even tells you the quantities that are possible, like based on your extends and stuff like that. And seeing like the odds at specific tasks, like if you're going for Inferno or something like that, seeing the exact % chance, super nice. So this interface is really awesome. I wish they let us sort by weight. That would have been really cool, but they just keep it alphabetical. Whatever, it works. This is way better than it used to be. It's so nice to be able to just go through and just clear out all your blocks that you want to do. Super, super handy. These Slayer changes are super, super sick. I'm so happy that the update came out now. I thought it was going to take a couple more weeks. It's such a good update. It's made Turiel tremendously faster, and just getting the task you want is so much easier than it used to be. So much less friction with Slayer. I actually love it so much. I wanted to show before we go, we are going into September. For all of September, we are doing Subtember on the Twitch streams. So we have these various incentives. I'm not going to go through all of them, but the big ones is I'm going to go for No Pillar Coliseum, and I'm going to go for a PvP collab with Mr. Odablock. He has agreed if we happen to reach that sub incentive, so I'm very excited. Check out the streams. We'll be streaming lots throughout all of September and slowly cracking through these as we reach incentives, so that'll be super, super sick. That's it for the video. I hope you all enjoy the new Turiel block list. I have been really enjoying Slayer. I hope you guys get out there and get some new unlocks. Have a good night. Leave a like, subscribe, or else. Bye. Mwah!